Greetings, everybody. So, in this very short video, we will explain how to find scientific conferences. Okay, now, if you are a PhD student, if you are a researcher, maybe also if you work in the industry, sometimes it is very common to present our work in a scientific meeting. This is called a conference. Okay, basically, a conference is a place where everybody submits their work. They go through the classic process of peer review, pretty much like in scientific journals, but usually this is a shorter process for conferences. So we meet up and everybody presents their work. Okay. When I was a student, basically, when I was a PhD student, I didn't really understand what was a conference and how I should go to a conference or how should I choose a conference. Okay. It's slightly difficult, I'm sorry, to decide when you are being very, very young. So I wanted to make a video to explain the basics. Okay, so this is, for example, a website from a very well-known conference. It's called MOCAST. It happened earlier this year. So you will see a call for papers, okay, which has a basic description about what the conference is about, okay, who are the organizers, where the conference is going to take place, what are the topics of the conference, for example, digital circuits, nonlinear circuits, AI, machine learning applications, sensors, electronics, communication systems, okay, which means that basically this conference is all about electronics, communications, and modern circuits. Okay, so this is what the conference is about, and this is expected from the works that are submitted there. Okay, so if I decide, for example, to submit a work, let's say on COVID in MOCAST, well, it's completely out of scope. They will not accept it. Okay, so each conference is about a specific topic. It's usually wide, sometimes it's a bit more focused, but basically we're expecting works that are relevant to this specific topic, either wide or very, very narrow. Okay. You need to pay to participate in a conference. Okay, so some payment is included. If you have funding, you are lucky. If you don't have funding, we usually divide among the authors. And uh, somebody must go there and present. This is something that I didn't understand. When I was a PhD student, I thought that if I submitted, a work that was three authors, everybody had to go. No, just one person has to go. So if you have a paper with three authors and you submit it in a conference, okay, not all of you have to go. Not you specifically, if you're the first author, has to go. Just some of the authors, at least one, I mean, has to go and present. It doesn't matter which one of each of the authors is. Okay, some representative of the authors should go and present there. Okay, conferences also have some other events. For example, usually they have a specific dinner. They have some coffee breaks, so you can meet up other people. You can discuss with other people. Basically, there are great, great opportunities of meeting other people inside your field. Okay, so they have a gala dinner, they have breaks for coffee or lunch. They have plenary talks. Plenary talks are basically central talks where nothing else happens during the meeting. Everybody else stops what they're doing and everybody goes to see the plenary talks. And usually they are from very, very famous people in the field. And the plenary talks are usually more general. So even if you are not a super expert on the specific topic, you can still kind of watch the plenary talk. Okay. But my question is, that's the purpose of the video. How the hell do I find relevant conferences in my field? Okay. For example, if you have seen my videos, you know I'm working on chaos theory, chaos modeling, and chaos cryptography. Okay, so I'm here, I'm in Greece, or I'm in Slovenia at the moment. How the hell do I find out what are the upcoming conferences on my specific topic in my area? Okay, this is a very big, tough topic, especially when I was a PhD student. I had no idea. I mean, already now I'm a bit more acquainted with the area. I know conferences, but when I was young, I didn't know any conferences. So I couldn't understand. That's what I was asking my supervisor. Like, how do I find out what are the conferences that are relevant to my area? Okay. Now remember, some of the conferences are usually happening again and again and again every year or every 2 years. So, for example, MOCAST here, I think it's the 10th, 12th time this happens. So, we have MOCAST originally started, I think, around 2015 or so, I think, and it happens every year. So, if you know a conference, Usually it happens again and again and again. And some of them go back till the 90s. So conferences like the Mediterranean Control Conference, for example, is super old. It's like it may have happened 30 times or so. So some conferences are very, very famous. So what is the best way to find conferences relevant to your field? First of all, social media, for example, LinkedIn is a very well known, a very good source for finding out upcoming conferences. If you have a lot of colleagues in the field on LinkedIn, usually when a conference happens, they promote it. So you will see it. Okay, so there has a website. You go into the website, you see the call for papers, you see how much it costs, when it will happen, where it will happen. Okay, if it's not very far away and you have enough money, you can go. Okay. So LinkedIn is one great choice. Okay. Second, which is what I did. Okay. If you're a PhD student, you probably have a supervisor. Okay. Your supervisor, basically, if you're super young, will guide you towards conferences. But what you could do also is go to their profile. Okay. Let's say that I'm your, supposedly your supervisor. Okay. So take a look in my profile and you can find out. Let's organize the citations by year, the papers by year, and you can find out here in which conferences I have participated. So if I do a search and search for conferences, you will find out, okay, here I participated in this conference, and then a bit later I participated in this conference, and okay, this was another conference about digital twins, and then we have another conference right here and another conference right here. Okay, so for example, this conference is called International Conference on Modern Circuits and System Technologies, MOCAST, okay? Another conference is called International Conference on Dependable System Services and Technologies, which is DESERT. Okay. Another conference is called Frontiers of AI, Ethics and Multidisciplinary Applications. FIEMA, I think, are the initials here. Another is MOCAST again. Another is called PASET, Pan-Hellenic Conference on Electronics and Telecommunications. Okay. So if you basically do that in your supervisor's profile, you will find out in which conferences he has participated, let's say the last 5 years. And then you can simply go and Google the names of these conferences and find out about their scopes, if they fit your specific field of studies, etc. So if you do that, for example, in my profile, you will see that I have some papers relating to chaos modeling and to chaos encryption in conferences like MOCAST, like Desert, which is also about communications, and some other ones like PASET, for example, which also is about communications. So you can immediately understand that, okay, these conferences may or may not publish material relevant to your field. Okay, if you do that to your supervisor's web site in Google Scholar, and maybe in your whole committee, basically, if you want to devote some more time, you can immediately create a list of 5, 6, 7 possible conferences that your supervisors or your committee have gone to. So probably you can also go to and then Google them, see what where they are happening on your next year or 2 years from now. See if it's close to your area, if you can participate, if you have money, and the technical details you can discuss with your supervisor. But that's how I did it in the past, and I managed to gather a list of 5, 6 possible conferences where I could potentially go. And another thing, if you're an engineer or working on engineering topics, if you Google IEEE conferences, well, the IEEE has a website for finding out conferences depending on your topic. So, for example, let's say I'm in Greece and I don't have enough money, and I only want to limit myself to conferences that are near Greece, in my area, of course, so that I don't have to spend a lot of time, a lot of money when I'm traveling. So I can Google here, for example, Greece, and I see that at the moment we have 8 upcoming conferences that take place in Greece. One is about electronic engineering and information technology. Another is about AI for wireless communications. Another is about social media, bioinformatics, microarchitecture, and unmanned aerial systems. EQUAS, this is very well known. EQUAS, I have participated some years ago. So I can take a look at what conferences happen near my city, or I can Google, for example, cryptography or whatever else you want, and find the relevant conferences on this specific topic. And of course, assuming you also have the time, you also have the money, it's very close to you or whatever, you can decide if you want to participate or not. Okay, so these for me are the best options. Social media, websites like IEEE conferences, and taking a look a little bit at your supervisor's profile or maybe your co-author's profile and see what conferences they participated in. Okay, remember, only one of the authors has to go to the conference, so if you cannot go, maybe one of your co-authors can go. You can decide that, of course, all together. And remember, when you visit a conference, it's not only about the papers, it's about meeting people. So if you want my personal opinion, when you go to a conference, try to go at the gala, try to go at the coffee places, at the coffee breaks, try to go at the plenary talks, discuss with people. You will see a lot of young people in conferences. Okay, I have met people in conferences that ended up being my co-authors. Okay, so we talked to one another, we, agreed on similar topics, and eventually we ended up having publications together. It's a very good experience. I strongly suggest going to conferences. Basically, it's part of our work. We are expected to go to conferences, but don't look at it as just a job. It's actually a very, very, very nice experience. People who go to conferences usually enjoy it a lot. Okay, I hope you find a nice conference that suits you. I hope you have a great time. If you have any questions about conferences, please write them down in the comments. Okay, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.